Hi. I may sound stranger than usual. It's 2:30 a.m. Actually, a little more than that. So this time when Nav Durga started, the Chaitra Nav Durga started, it instilled in me a very strange sentiment. I almost felt on day one that there was no God, that I did not know who I was praying to all these years. So the last 3 days have gone into finding things out, and gladly the outcome is what I wanted it to be. So without further ado, I started out at a very scientific note. I wanted to know how things were, what the universe is, and where exactly is God. Is there any God? Is there anything that we are praying to? So that's how I started. You may feel that it is abstract, it has no relation with what I have spoken about. In case anyone sticks around, one would find out that there is. So, on day one, I started out with finding out about an atom. I may have specialized in economics, but then there was a long time I was attached with science, and physics, chemistry were my favorite subjects. So I started out with the structure of the atom, and that was the time when I found out that, contrary to what usually we believe, that most of us who've not specialized in science, that we have protons, neutrons in the nucleus and electrons in the orbits, but that's not true. We have something else as well, and that's positron. And positron is the positive charge. It's the antimatter, call it, if you would like to call it that, and it is opposite of electron. Okay, so when these two collide, they form. When the positron and the electron collide, they form a photon, which is the fundamental unit of light. And whenever the photon disintegrates, it disintegrates into a positron and a neutron. So if you think that what I'm going to talk about, how I started, has no bearance with what I'm talking about at the moment, stick around, as I said in the beginning. So after, on the first day, I found about how the structure of the atom is, and how these the smallest little units, they collide to form a unit of light that we know. Then I read a little bit about the Milky Way, our galaxy. So this is how it is. In the center is the Sagittarius A, the star, part of the star Sagittarius constellation, which is the nearest black hole which is the center of the galaxy, our galaxy. That's Milky Way. That's a docile black hole. It hasn't started to engulf the solar systems around it. So this is our solar system, and this is Earth, the small little thing. And there are around 200 billion stars in our galaxy. And when there are 200 billion, you never know whether it is right or wrong, but there are many, many, right? This is how a black hole looks. It engulfs everything, every matter into it, until a point comes which is known as singularity. Now, this is one-dimensional point with infinite gravity, infinite density, infinite warping or twisting of space-time plane as we know it. And it is believed that it leads to white hole, which throws everything away again. Now, does it remind you of anything? It reminded me of Damru. Damru is what the musical instrument is like, of Lord Shiva. There is a rhythm. There is a rhythm in the universe, you know. So this rhythm is maintained by the black hole, which holds the galaxy together. Why does it need to hold the galaxy together? Because there is something called dark energy. Dark energy is responsible for expansion of the universe in an accelerated rate. Now it has been found out that the universe is just not expanding, it is expanding at an accelerated rate. So if dark matter is a matter that we can't see, and we can only find that it exists because the infinite gravity it has around it of pulling things into itself. And it is said that the universe comprises of 27% of dark matter, 67% of energy. Whether this figure is right or this one is right is not something which is which should be wasted time on, because the idea is that dark energy is much more. Why is it called dark energy? It's called dark energy because you can't see it, and it is very thinly spread. It does not have the same kind of an effect on things as usual as energy as we know it would have on things. What is energy? It moves and it makes things move. Since it makes things move, it brings changes, it transforms, right? So this was my first day, and it bent my mind quite a bit. It was a mind bending experience because I found no trace of God in anything. It was pure physics. This universe is so vast. We are so minuscule. We are not even worth talking about. We are so small. We are so minuscule. So this is what I found out. Okay. On the second day, I continued my findings on dark energy, and that's when I found that it is so thinly spread in the universe that you can also call it vacuum energy. You would feel that there's nothing there, but there is, and that's why it is called vacuum energy. It's just everything is in relation to each other. It's so less spread, and it perhaps comprises of dark photons. That is, our eyes can't see the energy as we know it. The visible energy is not there, nor are the electromagnetic waves there. What are electromagnetic waves? They're just not visible, but they are much stronger in its effect than the visible light or perhaps the radio waves. So it's like radio waves, microwaves, then infrared, then you have visible light band, and then you have ultraviolet, and then X-rays and gamma rays. So this portion, gamma rays, X-rays, and UV rays, they're very strong. It can get into your body and actually make some difference in the cells, and that's why they are dangerous for our health as well. Okay, I'm digressing from the topic. Okay, all right. So there's vacuum energy. Now, wherever there is energy, there are gravitational waves. What are gravitational waves? These are squeezes and stretches of the space, of the path that these waves cover. So it's like the waves of water. It's like waves of water that we see in the ocean. Excuse me. All right. So these are like waves of water in the ocean or the sea or any water body. The only difference is that it stretches and squeezes the land. And how would you find that out? The light beam would take longer to travel a certain distance, and then after a unit time has passed, or whatever time stipulated time has passed, the same beam of light would take a smaller time to cover that path. So that's how we know that the space stretches and squeezes, stretches and squeezes. That's gravitational waves for you. And why are they caused? Why is gravity there in the first place? Because there's variable energy density. At some places energy is more, at some places energy is less. So when it tries to establish an equilibrium, they collide. The energy photons, the dark photons that we are talking about, the low energy photons, they collide. Now here comes the meaty part. This was the second day. I was already feeling very low because I was not getting the answers that I was looking for. Now I wanted to know, just like chicken and egg, what came first, matter or energy? So according to tantric texts, energy came first. According to Puran, matter came first. My perspective, my personal perspective, energy came first. And since energy came first, it gave rise to matter. How? I'll talk about it in a while. So it's in the dark energy, matter would be created out of nothingness. So yeah. And how is matter created? I've already spoken about it. I've already spoken about that this is photon, this is energy unit, right? And when it disintegrates into a positron and an electron. Okay? And similar to these photons, there are many other photons or unit of energy that sometimes they break into baryonic matter. What is baryonic matter? Baryonic matter is what you have in the nucleus of an atom. That's proton and neutron. That's the matter. That's the solid thing. Because electron is an empty charge. It is one less of a charge. It is a hungry lepton that wants something. So it keeps moving to get to satisfy, to satiate itself. The mass of a thing is caused by something which are three in pair. That is, there are three quarks, two upwards, one downward, that's proton, two downward, one upward, that's neutron. And they're baryonic, which means they have gases around themselves. So that's the nucleus for you. And once that's formed in the waves, in the ocean of dark energy, matter is formed. Yeah? Alright, coming back to what I was looking for. Since there is energy, there's matter. How there is matter, I've spoken about. Since there is matter and energy, there are vibrations. In fact, we don't even need matter. Energy can cause vibrations on their own. Energy, because not every energy unit or photon would have the same magnitude of energy filled in it. Some would be highly charged photons, some would be less charged, some would be very less, they're carrying very less energy in them. According to that, vibration is produced. So whenever there is, the wavelength is very high, very long, that is, the frequency is very less, that's the low vibration, because it can go anywhere, because there's nothing to stop it. It is a long wavelength vibration, right? And then you have your Vibgyor, right? So the orange one has higher wavelength and more frequency. Yellow would have still more, green would have still more, the violet would have, the blue one will have still more, and the violet would have the highest. That's the highest vibration. So when the vibration is high, you feel light. Things get light. Why? Just because I say so? No. So when these energy vibrations, when they're put on a place called tonoscope, Sorry for that sound. Okay, this is made up of sand. So when you introduce that frequency, they make visual geometrical figures. So something as simple as a red vibration or 432 vibration, it makes this figure. Something as high as 700, it makes this figure. So our root chakra has these many petals. Our Sahasrara, the crown chakra, has these many petals. I mean, it's an intricate, complex view, right? All right. So, why did I say that we feel lighter as the vibrations go higher? Before that, these vibrations that were created in the ocean of dark energy, when these vibrations were good, they were creating sacred geometry. These sacred geometry, when is the visual form of the vibration, and they're pretty. They have a golden ratio, 1.618, right? Things look pretty when they have this ratio. Okay. And things, lower vibrations, when they were introduced on a tonoscope, they didn't look pretty. They were forming a haphazard look. So these are lighter. I'll talk about the characteristics of these vibrations. Higher, these vibrations, when they are higher, look, this is high with very small wavelength, high frequency, right? So what does it remind you of? Doesn't it remind you of a wire that's very close? So it would have high resistance. When they have high resistance, temperature increases. They have a greater temperature. So when the temperature is high, what happens? The energy diffuses. You know that. That's exactly what happens when we studied about rains. That there's in colder regions there's density, and when you go higher, when there's evaporation, the clouds move upwards. So when the temperature rises, there's greater diffusion of the photon particles. When there's greater diffusion, things get lighter, and there's more refraction, because from one medium to the other, warmer medium. That's why the crown chakra, it has such kaleidoscope like quality. Okay, so far I hope we are on the same page. On the third day, what I found, I wait a minute, I'm still not talking about God. Did you notice that? So I'm just talking about vibrations. Unlike the idea of opposite attract, similar vibrations, they congregated. Why did they congregate? Why did they not get attracted to haphazard vibration? Because they don't need to get attracted to something they are not going to interact with. Opposites attract when they need to interact. When there is no option of interaction, why would there be any interaction? Yeah, I mean, if you don't need to interact with something, there's no complementarity, there's no complementary relationship, why would you, right? So they were not just like quarks of protons and neutrons. They were not complementary. So the light vibration congregated, and they moved higher, and that's how, in my view, lok were created. The Brahmalok is the lowest lok, and in fact the sacral chakra, the first three chakras in our body, the Mooladhara, the sacral, in fact, yeah, the first two, they are said to be ruled by Brahma, and Saraswati, because they have the creative energy. They have the creative energy. Brahma is the creator, his energy is Saraswati. Now, Brahma is not worshipped because why create something that is going to be filled with a lot of unfairness as well? Not every creation is great, like the atomic bombs, the hydrogen bombs, the sleazy movies, drugs. They're not every creation is great, so I guess that's the reason Brahma is not worshipped as much. Okay, now as we move upwards, higher and higher and higher, many light years above our Bhulok, you have Umalok, and above that, above much above Umalok, you have Shivlok, and just besides Shivlok, you have, excuse me, you have Vaikunt. Vaikunt is where Vishnu lives, conserving energy. Now, do you know he lives with his cow, because cow is very nurturing. If you stay with nurturing people, you become nurturing. Shivlok, he's the god of transformation. So I got answers to what I was searching for. Yeah.